Archangel Michael says this message finds you at the exact minute it needed to, because something sacred moved in the hidden hours and your name was at the center of it. A door you could not see swung open in a quiet room. What was discussed there set new currents in motion for your life, and now the air itself is different around you. They gathered early, before the noise of the world could interrupt them, and the first words spoken were your name. A circle formed, not of gossip but of guardianship. They read what you have endured, what you chose to walk away from, what you carried alone when no one else would lift a finger. The light in that room did not come from lamps. It came from resolve. Every face leaned in, not to judge you, but to protect the breakthrough that has been stalking your days like a sunrise waiting for the horizon to finally give way. Someone laid a map on the table, and it was not a map of streets. It was the geography of your heart, the places where you were brave, the places where you were wounded, the places that still ache but keep beating. They traced routes that lead out of dead ends. They circled the exact patch of ground where your next beginning stands waiting, like a train already humming on the tracks. They spoke about timing, and timing answered. They spoke about favor, and favor remembered your home. They spoke about the long silence you endured, and silence released your name like a bird that was never meant to live in a cage. One voice in the room pulled out a ledger of every unnoticed kindness you gave. Cups of water you offered to people who never learned how to say thank you. The way you handled unfairness without becoming unfair. The way you chose to heal instead of matching anyone's harm. The ledger glowed, and the room nodded in agreement. You will not be hidden anymore. A messenger from far away arrived with a bundle tied in blue string. Inside were 3 promises and 1 instruction. Do not dim yourself to fit rooms you have outgrown. Do not let yesterday borrow tomorrow's light. Do not argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And the instruction was this: pack lightly, because what is coming is weightless and swift. They reviewed the stories told about you, and they replaced rumors with truth like one replaces cracked glass with clear windows. The truth was simple: you have been faithful with small things, therefore larger things are now looking for you. It rang across the room like a bell. Then they talked about the gathering that is already forming. Everyone will get together very soon, not to shame you, not to interrogate you, not to corner you, but to crown the work you did in the dark by hand and by heart. Old friends. New allies. A few people who once underestimated you and learned the cost of doing so. A few who tried to slow your steps and now step aside. A chair at that table was kept empty in honor of the version of you who barely made it here. They saluted the tired you who kept waking up. They saluted the quiet you who kept listening. They saluted the gentle you who refused to harden, and because you refused to harden, your future has not become brittle, it has become flexible, like a bow ready to send arrows farther than anyone expects. They reviewed a list of doors. Some doors had worn out handles from the knocking you once did. Those will open without your hand this time. Some doors had never been yours at all. Those will close quietly and stay closed, and you will feel relief instead of regret. But one door in particular, tall, pale, almost shy, tilted toward your name. It could not bear to keep you outside any longer. They spoke of the next 90 days with such detail that the walls leaned closer to hear. They marked windows of momentum where you will feel like you are walking with the wind, not against it. They marked 2 days when you must choose rest over busyness so clarity can find you. They marked 1 day when an unexpected invitation arrives wearing ordinary clothes. They assigned watchmen to the pathways where old triggers wait. These watchmen are not armed with anger, they are armed with perspective. They will remind you that you have nothing left to prove to people who cannot be pleased. They will remind you that your peace is not a luxury, it is your strategy. They agreed, your heart needs room. Room for laughter that does not apologize. Room for work that respects your dignity. Room for companionship that does not demand you shrink. They move the furniture of your life so your steps are not interrupted by clutter disguised as commitments. Your name passed from hand to hand like a candle that never burned out. Each person who held it spoke one sentence of blessing into it. Not theatrical, not grand, just steady. And when the candle came back to the center of the table, it was brighter than when it left. That is what happens when many honest lights cooperate. They reviewed the shadow that tried to follow you, and they described it accurately, not a monster, just an echo. Echoes can be loud, but they have no substance on their own. They decided to starve the echo by feeding only what is real. You will notice this soon, old noise will fade without your effort to argue with it. Someone produced a key. It did not fit ordinary locks. It fit habits. The key's teeth were shaped like new routines: hydration, movement, creative hours, honest conversations, better boundaries. They pinned a small note to your future calendar. What once felt impossible now feels inevitable. Everyone will get together very soon, but this reunion is not about old drama. It is about bringing your scattered pieces home. It is about giving language to what you've survived, not to reopen wounds but to show the architecture of healing you built with your own hands. The room acknowledged the ache, because the ache deserves honesty. They did not pretend everything was easy. They prayed through the places in you that still flinch. But even there, especially there, the tenderness of heaven settled like a quilt sewn from 1,000 quiet mercies. It warmed the cold corners. It whispered, "You are not behind. You are right on time." A bell rang once. The meeting turned to logistics. Doors. Dates. Names. How to soften the introduction of good news so your nervous system can hold it. How to arrange help so you receive it without feeling indebted. How to make room in your days so joy does not have to shout to be heard. They spoke of provision with a farmer's calm, not a gambler's thrill. Seeds you planted in seasons when nothing seemed to sprout have taken root. What looked dormant was busy underground. The harvest did not forget your address. It was simply growing a foundation strong enough to hold the size of what is coming. They discussed your voice and how it deserves a safer stage. No more walking on eggshells to avoid the crush of someone else's insecurity. No more dimming bright ideas to avoid becoming a target. Your ideas are solutions, not threats. They belong in rooms where strategy, not jealousy, is the culture. Someone who once disappointed you asked for a chance to make things right. The room did not reject them. The room required maturity. If their actions matched their words, a small bridge will appear. If not, the current will carry you past without the splash of needless conflict. Either way, your peace remains intact. They named the sabotages that will try to sneak in: hurry, overthinking, comparison. Then they assigned counters to each one: pace, presence, gratitude. Pace keeps your fire steady. Presence keeps your mind from sprinting into futures that haven't asked for you yet. Gratitude keeps you taller than pettiness could ever make you. They signed a letter authorizing a season where your life fits your size. Not the size of anyone's expectations. Your size. The one that allows you to breathe with your full lungs. The one that fits your gift like a custom garment. The one that allows your compassion to be strong instead of exhausted. The letter also authorized edits: fewer obligations that drain, more projects that pay and praise your soul. Fewer interruptions from the past, more introductions to what is healthy and true. Fewer second chances from you, more first chances given to yourself. As the meeting advanced, music that had no instruments filled the room. It was the sound of relief assembling itself in your chest in advance. It will arrive the way monsoon rains arrive, sudden, scented, convincing. You will notice you're not forcing your shoulders down from your ears anymore. Your body will understand what your spirit already knows: the fighting season is closing, the building season is here. They spoke your full name and then the nickname only love uses, and the walls answered. The walls remembered you. They remembered your first brave yes. They remembered the day you cried without hiding it, because hiding was what was hurting you. The walls promised to carry your echo forward wherever architecture can hold joy. There was also a segment about the places you may visit soon. Not for escape, but for alignment. You will stand in one room and feel it bless you back. You will stand in another and feel your energy slip like a tide. Don't chase it. Let your senses be your directions. They are recalibrated now. They arranged a table for that upcoming gathering: everyone who matters, and none who don't. On that table they placed bread for clarity, water for rest, fruit for creativity, and salt for memory. They left a seat for surprise. The kind of surprise that doesn't spike your anxiety, but smooths it. One of them, older than thunder, took your timeline in both hands and removed the thorn lodged in a year that still hurts when you think about it. The year stayed the same, but the meaning transformed. What once was shame is now testimony. What once was loss is now instruction. What once was loneliness is now space for the right ones to arrive. They confirmed that the right ones are already on the way. Their names do not matter yet. Their character does. They will spot you across the room and see you clearly. No games. No posturing. Work that moves. Laughter that lasts. Plans that do not collapse when the first wind blows. The topic turned to rest, the kind where your mind sleeps, not just your eyelids. They built you a landing. Soft, simple, sustainable. They placed on it the small rituals that make you feel human in a world that tries to make you a machine. Tea, a walk, a playlist that knows how to put you back together, a corner of sunlight on the floor. They also removed the last hooks where guilt tried to hang. You don't owe anyone the old version of yourself. You don't owe anyone more access than they have earned. You don't owe anyone explanations for boundaries that are saving your life. Freedom is not you abandoning others. Freedom is you finally coming home to yourself so you can love without disappearing. Someone asked, "What about the storms?" The room smiled, because storms are familiar. They don't call for panic anymore, they call for preparation. Your roof got repaired while you were sleeping. Your anchors were tested. Your roots deepened. Rain will water what is planted. Wind will carry your message farther. Lightning will only show the landscape more clearly. They drafted a small script for you to carry in your pocket for days when words are hard. It says, "I am not late, I am layered. I am not denied, I am directed. I am not behind, I am becoming." It weighs almost nothing and changes everything. Then a final review, how to enter the room when everyone gets together very soon. You will not perform. You will arrive. You will not shrink. You will settle. You will not beg. You will belong. The meeting trained the air around that day to welcome you with respect that doesn't need to be demanded to exist. The door of that meeting opened, and though you did not see it with your eyes, your life felt it. That's why your chest loosened last night for no obvious reason. That's why a small joy rose and sat with you this morning like a cat that just decided you are safe. That's why you are reading this with the feeling that something is already different. What waited
You are
for
not
you is
imagining
stretching
it.
its arms to reach you
The
faster.
schedule
Moved. Coincidences
The line
are not
advanced.
coincidences anymore.
The
They
delay
are
dissolved.
confirmations. What resisted
In light
you
of
has
what was
run out of
decided
excuses. Your next steps are simple, not small. Tell the truth to yourself first. Put your hand on your chest and remind your heart that you are not in danger now, you are in transition. Clean one drawer. Make one call. Send one message that opens a window for the wind to move through your life. Watch for the sign that looks like a kindness from a stranger. Watch for the invitation that seems too ordinary to matter, and say yes if peace stays when you hold it. Watch for the urge to celebrate without a reason, the reason will reveal itself later. Keep your eyes soft. Keep your jaw unclenched. Keep your feet under you. In the next room over, they prepared the welcome you rarely received. It includes softness. It includes good news that lands gently. It includes people who don't make you earn basic decency. It includes opportunities that recognize your value before you have to list it. It includes a future that doesn't punish you for the past you did not choose. They also revised your inner weather. Less thunder. More sky. You will still feel everything, that is your gift, but you will not be swept away by everything. The tide will obey you more. The sun will find you faster. The night will be more honest and less loud. When everyone gets together very soon, bring your true voice. Bring your healed eyes. Bring your unlearned fearlessness, the kind that doesn't roar but also doesn't retreat. Bring the story you have, not the story anyone wishes you had. Bring the softness you kept clean through seasons that could have hardened you. They closed the meeting with a gentle vow, to keep guiding you away from rooms that require your pain for their comfort. To keep opening rooms that pay you fairly, honor you deeply, and grow you steadily. To keep your path clear of traps disguised as chances. To keep you aimed at the exact life that fits your name. The last page of their notes carries 3 signatures: courage, clarity, and companionship. Courage will help you do the next honest thing. Clarity will help you hear which opportunities have your name etched into them. Companionship will make sure you never mistake isolation for independence again. And now we are here, at the edge where the unseen becomes seen. You were not forgotten. You were prepared. You were not punished. You were positioned. Everything that needed to be said on your behalf was said today, and everything that needed to be arranged for your sake has been arranged. Walk gently but aim forward. The room has voted in your favor. The season has opened in your direction. The gathering is already on its way. You will recognize its arrival by the small, simple wonders that begin to stack up in your hands. The right text at the right time. The right idea at the right hour. The right face at the right door. You will sense it first, like a sunrise still behind the hills, and then you will see it, and your body will finally believe what your spirit knew all along: you were carried here for this. They held a meeting about you today. It was not a trial, it was a turning. They did not weigh your worth, they witnessed it. And now the world will, too, quietly at first, then openly, then permanently. Keep your posture. Keep your pace. Keep your heart. The next room is opening, and your seat has been saved. The signatures on the letter dried like morning dew turning to light, and with that, the meeting adjourned. Yet the decisions did not drift away, they took form. You will feel them first in the quiet minutes, the kind that usually pass without ceremony, suddenly charged with clarity as if the day has learned your name and is practicing how to say it kindly. In a side chamber, they reviewed the stories you once told yourself when things were hardest. Not to shame you, but to retire them honorably. These thoughts kept the bridge standing, someone said, but now the bridge can be rebuilt with better wood. And just like that, the creaking in your spirit eased. They wrapped 3 tools for your pocket: the courage to leave a room when the air disrespects you, the discipline to show up when inspiration is lazy, and the humor to stay human when everything wants you to become a machine. You will find these tools without looking, the way keys show up by the door when you're finally ready to go. A soft gavel tapped twice on a point called delay. They ruled that delay is no longer punishment, it was protection buying time for alignment. That ruling stands. What missed you before will return in a better outfit, at a better hour, on a better day, with better company. Someone placed a small compass on the table, no numbers, only 4 words: true, kind, necessary, now. If a conversation fails those words, excuse yourself without guilt. If an opportunity passes that test, step in fully, not halfway, not apologizing for your presence. They opened a file marked Restoration. It wasn't flashy. It was faithful. One page promised that your attention will stretch further without snapping. Another page promised that sleep will visit you like a friend who knows how to knock softly. Another page promised your appetite for joy will return, not as a binge, but as a rhythm. The meeting appointed a quiet custodian for your boundaries. Not a guard dog, not a wall, more like a gardener who knows what to prune and when to water. This custodian will tap your shoulder when an old pattern tries to climb the fence. You will recognize the tap as a calm certainty that says, "Not this time." They approved a travel plan for your message, the way your work, ideas, and offerings will move through the world. It will not rely on volume, it will rely on resonance. It will find the rooms that are already tuned to your frequency and skip the ones that demand you twist yourself into shapes you were never meant to fit. There was a small celebration about your integrity. Not the loud kind with confetti, the steady kind that sets a long table and fills it with simplicity. They toasted the times you did the right thing when no one was taking notes. They toasted the way you kept promises to yourself after too many seasons of breaking them in favor of pleasing others. Those toasts matter. They're part of why the door you've been waiting for is opening with ease instead of argument. Then came logistics for the gathering. Everyone will get together very soon. They sketched the shape of the room. Natural light. The chairs arranged so conversation flows instead of collisions. A doorway that welcomes, not interrogates. A table large enough for your new courage to sit beside your new peace without bumping elbows. On that day, someone who once doubted you will arrive early and offer to help set the table. Accept their help without rewriting history and without handing them the script for your future. They may yet become a steady neighbor to your next chapter. If they don't, the room will know and adjust without drama. Music will be low and kind. Your name will move through the air without flinching. People will speak to you as if they've been waiting to exhale, because they have. You will smile the easy smile of someone who didn't beg for a seat, you grew into it. You will not feel like a guest. You will feel like a co-host to your own life. Before the gathering, there will be a week of subtle confirmations. A notice gets corrected in your favor. An invoice clears faster than expected. A message arrives with language so aligned it feels like the sky replying. These are not accidents. They are the first fruits of the decisions that room made for you and with you. They reviewed your work, the way your hands know how to make meaning out of ordinary material. They resolved to amplify your effort without inflating your calendar. The result will feel like wind at your back rather than a weight on your chest. You will discover that doing right by yourself does not reduce your generosity, it refines it. A chapter titled Visibility was opened, and it did not feel like exposure, it felt like right-sized light. The plan is not to throw you on a stage and hope you survive the glare. The plan is to ease you into environments where your glow is welcomed because the culture there exists to serve the work, not feed egos. Your voice will carry farther in such places without raising its volume. They spoke of legacy, not the heavy word that demands monuments, but the living one that breathes through choices. The legacy they see in you looks like people sleeping better because of something you created. It looks like conversations that stay kind after you leave. It looks like young versions of you realizing there is a way to be powerful without becoming cruel. They turned to the topic of money and smiled like farmers again. Provision will meet you where stewardship leads you. They endorsed a simple practice. When money arrives, greet it with clarity, give it a meaningful assignment, and send a portion ahead to build roads for your future self. You don't have to clutch it with fear, you can collaborate with it. A small silver seal was pressed onto a page marked Home. The seal guarantees that your space will feel like you, colors that breathe, surfaces that rest, corners that listen. You will understand why certain objects ask to leave and why certain others feel like they were waiting just off stage for your yes. Someone asked about loneliness in a voice that had carried too much silence. They answered with companionship, not noise. The plan includes people who can sit with your quiet without trying to fix what isn't broken. The plan includes laughter that doesn't spotlight you for mockery but honors you for presence. There was a brief training about your nervous system. It does not need to sprint through every conversation as if alarms are ringing. The alarms were appropriate once, but the battery has been replaced with peace. You'll notice this when you disagree with someone and the room stays safe because you stayed centered. They spoke of creativity as if it were a river that remembers your steps. Do not dam it with perfectionism, the elders said. Do not poison it with comparison. Let it run. It will irrigate fields you don't even know belong to you yet. You will find yourself returning to projects you paused, not out of guilt, but out of joy. They flipped to a section called Release.